Marriage is not easy. Once the excitement of mating settles into a routine, there is the reality of living with another person who is suddenly around all the time. The bad habits and personality tics of the other once thought charming, or just offbeat, are now out in the open, not to be overlooked, and drive you crazy. The older you are, the more scars and experiences you will have collected, all of which make you wiser and equips your B's radar. Marriage needs your maturity in all ramifications of life: mental maturity, emotional maturity, psychological maturity, spiritual maturity, financial maturity, and physical maturity. In all of this, physical, emotional, and psychological maturity must not be taken for granted. It is also important that you are financially established. If you are in your 20s as a guy, and you are lacking in this 3 or 4, to an extent, you will not be able to stay in the marriage for long before asking for divorce, except you got married to a lady who is above 30 and can be able to manage those areas for you. But if you are a lady, it is still okay. Even at that, one's likes and dislikes change with age. You will notice that as your age increases, those things you used to like, you will begin to dislike them, while those things you don't care about becomes attractive to you. A woman may be attracted to slim girls in their 20s, but as they grow into 30 and above, they begin to see reasons why chubby guys are preferable to slim ones, or it could also be the other way around. They may like chubby ladies in their 20s, but as they approach 30 and above, they begin to prefer slim guys to chubby ones. This is due to the fact that the teenage boyish thoughts have given way to a matured adult thoughts. These, amongst other reasons, are why it is advisable, or suggested, that guys should be within or close to 30 before taking a wife. Unlike the lady who at 20 should be considered ripe for marriage. In all, it still depends on people, and how fast they mature or are established in the area of finance, emotion, and psyche. Some guys could be just 20 but are as matured as a 40 years man due to experiences they have gone through in life, while some will be 40 years but are not emotionally or psychologically as matured or even financially established as the 20 years guys. Maturity in all ramifications should be weighed to determine if the person is fit for marriage at the mentioned age or not. The 20s are not a favorable time to get married. For me, I believe the average marriage for males is 30-35, while that of females is 23-28 years. So based on the above, 20s is a favorable time for a female to get married. But based on the above average, it is not a favorable time to get married for males. This is because of the following reasons. 1. Before you marry, no matter what, know yourself first. Most of us have arrived at who we are well into our 22nd and are hardwired not to change. 2. Know the person you wish to marry and know his or her family. Like it or not, you will become part of a new tribe whose ways may be primitive or just plain disgusting. 3. Be employed before you marry long enough to establish yourself, your gifts, your own money, and your independence. 4. Be clear on how each of you approaches money. Does one or both bring debt and a broken credit rating to the marriage? Does the person save or recklessly spend money? How will housework be shared? 5. Children, yes or no? Have this conversation. 6. His or her friends become your friends. Can you live with that? 7. There will be times you will think you have made the worst choice of your life. Don't keep a bag of complaints to dump out in moments of anger. A friend of mine whose wife divorced him sought counseling. When the counselor sought to uncover the problems between them, she said it began on the wedding night when he did not compliment her on her chosen attire for their honeymoon delight. They had been married for years. He was now as she was in his 42nd. I told him if they had to start from the beginning to work his way through all the problems accumulated from the wedding night, he didn't have that much time left to sort it all out. 8. The man is the provider for the house, so he needs to financially stable. This takes time. 9. A man needs to achieve emotional stability of being able to know what he wants and who wants to be with. 10. In my part of the world, schooling and getting a job takes time, so in their 20s a lot of men are still in school or still trying to find a job. 11. A man has to get home and equip it. 12. Marriage is all about responsibility and sacrifice, and a man in his 20s still does not understand this. 13. Marrying at a younger age, 20s, carries a higher divorce risk. Again, the 20s are just an extension of the teenage years and all the carefree lifestyle of partying, drinking. I'm not going to say nobody should get married in their 20s, but I will say it's a bad idea until you are at least 25 years old. I believe even those who dislike being single and long for marriage should spend some years as a single adult to learn how to go on with your life as a single person. It's an important life lesson, and in my opinion necessary to learn who you are. The 20s are the ages you start to have adult responsibilities like a career, taxes, and a bunch of other legal work. Marriage is a big responsibility in itself, Adding that to your new responsibilities could easily be too much to handle and adapt to. Marriage is not just becoming a family with the person you love. It's also a possible expensive wedding and buying a bunch of stuff for the house. Family visits. Possibly hanging out with some people you dislike because they are friends with your spouse or her family. Calling the same house my home with your spouse, which can make you feel trapped when something goes wrong. These can be troubling at any age, of course, but in your 20s it will be harder for you to deal with. Maturity comes with experience, and age is a part of that experience. Also, at least a lot of people around me are not ready to settle down with one person in their 20s, especially early 20s. Some of them stayed single and just went on dates. Those who found themselves in a relationship sometimes ended their relationship solely or mostly because they were not ready for monogamy, or monogamy was too much to handle in their 20s. I've seen it happen so many times. They entered a relationship to happy years without a problem, and then they got the desire to sleep with someone else too strongly. Either they directly broke up because of this, or this indirectly caused problems in their relationship, and the relationship ended. You can't be sure how long you can handle monogamy until you are in a long relationship, at least if you stay single in your 20s and date multiple people during those years. You will take the desire to have a sexual dating experience out of your system. It might make your future marriage get stronger. Maybe in the old times when average life expectancy was much shorter, and you would be considered lucky to see your 50th birthday, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get married in your 20s. Now average life expectancy in the world is 70 years. Why spend only 23 years of those as a single person, and the rest of it married when you can experience and enjoy? I'm not married longer. The man-woman relationship starts when the boy and the girl reach their maturity age. Nature has provided various ways and means for a happy living, but mankind has redrafted it to suit their way of living or comfort. The system of marriage is one among them. Marriage is a tradition and has nothing to do with natural practices. Humanity is carried away by tradition, rather than following the principles of nature. Those who are interested in following the rules of nature have nothing to do with marriage or marriageable age. In a society, whether ancient or modern, where marriage is a precondition for man-woman interaction, the marriageable age may depend on the cultural, economic, and social condition of the nation to which they belong. In a family system of life, maintaining a family with few children is the responsibility of the parents, which involves financial commitments. Boys and girls should be ready to meet these challenges. Education and employment, or any other form of wealth creation, may have to be a precondition for getting married. In village life, where farming is the main occupation, children are considered as assets, because they will start working in fields at a very early age. In such an environment, getting married at an early age, I mean after maturity, is a welcome sign, because adolescent desires are fulfilled then and there. Whereas in city life, education, employment, or wealth creation, etc. is a major issue, where the early marriage will create more problems than solving them. However, laws of the land have to adhere to. If wealth and health are not a big issue, marriage at the age of 20 is better than at 30. Not only reproducible age, but eagerness, strength, and activities will appear better at 20 than 30. Marrying at 30 or later may face some physical difficulties. Some sort of deformities also not ruled out. If taking care of a family is also an issue, age 30 may appear better.